Man, we lost a great American in Colin Powell, and just an amazing tributes we've seen all day yesterday. I know most of you, grew up, same age as I am, and he was one of those power, and when you saw him standing up there next to the president, he represented power. For me, he's also a man of quotes. We had the Pottery Barn rule that he brought up, and that was, you break it, you own it, referring to war and bringing in the Pottery Barn. He had some great quotes too for leadership and producer. If you can show some of these, they really do. They kind of hit home to what what we see as ourselves as leaders. If the soldiers quit coming to you, for example, it's going in here and it says one of these references is, if the soldiers quit coming to you, it's either they've lost faith in what you can do or they don't trust you. Either way, it's a failure on leadership. And I find a lot in that in what we're up against every day. We have the driver managers that watch this show across the country that you have that opportunity to lead your troops, right? To be those leaders. And when they quit coming to you, when they're not asking you or coming to you for problems anymore, have they lost the faith in you? Have they lost the faith in your company? When they come to you, how do you look at that? And that's that's just one of my favorite quotes that he has in there. It's phenomenal how we can take that and apply that to what we are today. For me, I remember, I can make it personal, right? Because I was in the Panama Canal. I left in 1989, 30 days before Colin made that thing that said, you know what? It is time for Noriega to go. And they went in there and eventually they ousted him and they captured him. And here's a thing that kind of hits home for me, who Colin Powell was. And he says this right here. When Noriega was captured, the guy was working on his car. He was underneath his Volvo working on it. And this was his quote. He goes, the reality of it all is right here. He goes, the beauty of it all was rather than dealing with humans, I knew what was wrong when the car was telling me something was wrong. And in other words, the car could tell him what was up. The humans, you know how that is. It's just, what a day. And it really is, because when I sit back today as Sir Rick, and I watched it last night, all the tributes to a great American. Yes, he was the first Black Joint Chief of Staff. Yes, he was a National Security Advisor, Secretary of State. But what a great American passion this guy had for his country first. Not only did he serve 2 terms in Vietnam, hey, he also survived a helicopter crash. All of these things that really created who Colin Powell was. You know what, America, today, as you drive down today, drivers, as you drive down the highways, down the roads, you're going to see these flags, honor, respect, these Americans, and not just him, but all these Americans that serve our country. You are our heroes as well. BCB Live, you know what? We take a lot of pride in who we decide to honor. We honor you, the truck driver of America, as our heroes, right? And there's nothing wrong with taking a moment and doing the same thing for others. The heroes that run across this country today, outside of this country, protecting who we are, protecting our rights.
And we've got some good ones here. Perfect space. Look at it. Get over early. Letting them merge in. There's nothing out there, Remember, lane changes, you want to avoid as much, but here, this was a nice
job.
save. Great,
Love
just awesome situational. And then what I love about that, we don't gain on them. Just in case something goes wrong, this driver does not gain on them, right? You gain it now, but then the driver backs out a little bit, lets them over, make sure nobody's going to jump over 2 lanes, right? Kind of slows down right there, pauses. Love that. Hey, let's just see what's going to happen here. Just perfect. Another good one, man, look at all the tailgating going on up there. Yeah. Nowhere to go. That is a 4 or 5 car pileup waiting to happen. This driver is well back. able to go out. And right here, we lose. There is no escape route right there as you see the guardrail. And then you become another escape route as well.
Yeah, before you go out there and you try to platoon, understand that technology comes into place on platooning. It's allowing the vehicles to get close by. It knows what the vehicle in front of it's doing. This isn't platooning, this is tailgating.
Yes, right.
Get off the tail.
Yes. And this next one, man, we know that ambulances aren't even secured. So why would you follow so close? Because as this driver passes, you're going to see that car is hauling a couple mattresses. And odds are they're not secured. That load is not secured. And that mattress is got a real chance of flying right into your windshield here, folks. So make sure that you back off. Just pack that patient. There's plenty of room here. Just back it off and then make the nice, steady lane change. Another good job. 5 miles under the posted limit in the right lane, right? Traffic's coming over. There's just not much that can happen here. These are one of those that if somehow there's an accident here, it's one of those that in that 5% that says, you know what, accidents just happen. But this driver is doing a phenomenal job. I've also heard that on the weather people that it is going to be an El Nino season. Don't know what that means as far as snow, but it's usually not good.
You know what? Global warming, El Nino, does any of it even make sense? Is it real? Any of it really real?
Yes, it is real. We are not spreading misinformation.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, sorry about that, producer. I knew that would just like, dude, what are you talking about? Of course it's real. Of course it is. Hey, we have a lot of safety talks that we're going to continue to talk about. We had our streaks continue to go on the get out and look. Great job in what you do as you make that intention to get out and look. It does look like, and I want to make mention, we continue to gather more and more listeners, right? Watching the BCB Live through other trucking affiliates, and we love that everybody's on here. We continue to gather gather that data, right? Much like Atri, to understand, what kind of difference are we making in the industry, with the drivers on here. And I will tell you, sometimes, and I guess I say that, right? Bob, I'm going to struggle with it. I mean, sometimes accidents happen. I mean, I don't know if I believe that or not, because if they're in our control, and I get it, once again, you've got to be on your game 100% of the time. All of this has got to be going, but insurance folks will tell you, what, accidents are going to happen. We did end our streak yesterday, and we start back over today at what appears to be 0.
Yes. And again, boy, that is a hard one, Sir Rick, because yes, accidents happen, but most of them, and I'm going to say somewhere in the 90% or above, can be avoided. And it's just one of the things where situational awareness, pack your patience, right? Watch your mirrors. We started off yesterday with the driving, and it was know everything that's going on around you. And one of the ways you can do that is focus on those mirrors. Remember, I want to just kind of share with everybody, there is one true blind spot, right? And it is on the passenger side, front right corner, right? So the only way if you're not looking at your mirrors, and even if you are, you have to raise up a little bit or adjust your speed to remove that blind spot. The left side's good. So one of the things we talk all that, stay out of the left lane, right? Be in the right lane, then you don't have to worry so much about the blind spot, although we've seen videos where people pass on the shoulder. So you still have to be mindful of it, but there's less pressure on you because you don't have the blind spot. Nobody should be out there on that when you're in the right lane. So you just got to keep your head on a swivel. Always know everything around you. These are points from the drivers themselves. This is a collection I found on a site that just these are what drivers, the professionals, are telling us that the keys to being, avoiding accidents and protecting life is to be alert, know everything that's going around you.
Yeah, and also as a driver out there, as a trucking company, as an industry expert, you also need to start embracing technology. And the technology I speak about, buckle up, Bob, is what's coming out in first quarter in many trucks of next year, assuming that chips aren't an issue, is the mirrorless truck. And again, we'll hear I'm not driving that truck. The mirrorless truck is designed, and while it still has the backup up there if you need it, the mirrorless truck is designed to take away the blind spot. It's designed to take away that one very act that you talk about, is to make it go away. Technology is scary, right? I mean, boy, it's different. And I don't like different. I want the same thing. I want to come home and I want my dinner served at my table. Miss Kendra, I need you there in your apron cooking fresh baked bread. Technology, embrace the change. The technology, but above I speak about, those mirrors is designed to make us safer, to make our industry safe. And Buckle Up Bob, I'll go in to say this. There's a good chance that if that technology was out today, that the accident we speak of, it's not there. And isn't that alone worth it?
Yes, great points. And when you can be honest with yourself, we've asked the drivers out there to always be honest and always think, well, why? Ask yourself that, because you'll never come up with a good, safe reason to do some of the things that you do. And I know from us, what you say is technology. Many of us, myself included, when we get afraid of technology, it's because it's going to hold us accountable. And we don't want that in a lot of cases. But as I've driven with my wife and struggled with trying to convert her to be safer out there, the mirrors are never set right. So I love the fact that we've got that alert system on our cars that tells us somebody's out there, right? So now I feel a little safer with her because I know her mirrors are on the rear of the car, which doesn't help when you're in 2 or 3 lanes of traffic. So I do love the technology, especially on vehicles. It is. As we age, let's just face our faculties slow down and we're not as sharp and as alert as we usually are.